If I can just thank everybody for being here today. It was an honor to for you to allow me to make a presentation today, and I was really excited about all the contributors today. A lot of good things are happening, obviously. So it's a very special time. So I want to thank the North American team, the North American international team, and Mr. Keshe, John, and especially you, Mark, for carrying the torch for all of us here. And I'm going to pass it over to
Hardly,
you, and we'll
hardly.
looking forward to a great week.
And as someone once said, we haven't seen nothing yet.
And if I can add, you will see a lot this Thursday. Good evening. This Thursday teaching will be a very special teaching, and it'll prepare most of the knowledge seekers for the next step to become what we call the passengers of universe, but the first structure we teach to make you all going through the first step of not eating, not taking medicine or medication, and at the same time, elevation of the soul to be able to pass the boundary of the physicality of the mind. This is part of the Keshe Foundation work in bringing new dimension into teachings, and many of you will change your course of your life as of this Thursday if you choose so. And this is part of the work we do in creating new, what we call pressures on the next phase of what we call our peace talks. If you are fast enough to be able to follow what we put out this week, you might be able to see the results enough to come up with the testimonies on it. But what is going to be taught this Thursday will undoubtedly will change all your lives. Every single one of your knowledge seekers and those who follow. We bring a dimension preparing man to be ready gradually to become man of a space that he does not need to consume any more food. And totally a new, but most of you know, technology will be introduced that feeds your soul, feeds your physicality, feeds the soul of your physicality. Anyway, prepares you for the next step in becoming man of space. And then with this new system, you have a choice. Use it the right way, you elevate your soul to become the traveler of space, or pass the boundary of your body to extend the physicality to become encaged by the soul. Or you feel the physicality, but be aware of the new condition which your physicality will live under. It's a very interesting, and I think it'll be one of the most beautiful teachings for a long time. And before anybody of you ask me how was the conference, we had this very successful conference, extremely successful, and we hope the next conference will be in Moscow. We will announce as we said soon about it. It was one of the very successful conferences. We achieved more than we came here for, and now the conference is over. We've achieved a lot in Romania, and we were expecting it. Negotiation with different officials from different governments, different aspects of the technology has brought a new dimension to the way we work, and we hopefully see the next step with it. If you're a knowledge seeker, don't miss this Thursday teaching. You will see it's you who will be there to bring the next step change. But you will say, oh, I thought it can be done. But now we actually go to show you how to create a dimension. In a way, what I've been teaching for past few weeks now, we put a new dimension to it. And I'm sure many of your knowledge seekers will be amazed in what the next step brings for man to walk away from killing and everything else which is habit of him now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, you have it right there from the source. Not to miss this Thursday. So we'll remind everyone, and I do believe this is the last week of the private students' classes, although some will continue, I'm sure. Hopefully Jalal's class will continue and Rick's class will continue. The Knowledge Seekers workshops will continue. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race will continue. And this Sunday meeting will also continue.
I think, Mark, after what Mr. Cass said, it will be continue.
There is something which, please, knowledge seekers, bear in the back of your mind, long-term plan. As we said, the Keshe Foundation is setting up, is working towards opening the first space university. We are looking for knowledge seekers who can become what we call teachers in this institute. This is a full-time job and more or less is a long-term job for being teachers in different aspects of the Keshe Foundation technology. Once we complete this by January, we'll put up the list of the teachers and the jobs we offer. We expect to have at least about 200 to 500 people as staff, teachers, researchers, lab researchers, and the rest to support others to start. But we think we will have the first and its most beautiful place to have a university. It would have taken us at least 3 or 5 years to build this. Now we have been very lucky if we get the finals okay, that this condition is being given to us. We can take maybe up to 3,000 students, but we need at least around about somewhere in between about 200 to 500 staff, especially people who want to be the research into development. And we look to the next step. We have requested for flight condition to be granted to Keshe Foundation to start testing directly in governmental space, flight tests. And in the next 2 or 3 months, if we get grant to test flight, we will start showing the systems to gradually become ready for what we call March or what we call June the 6th next year. Keshe Foundation has officially requested from governments to grant us flight path. And in the next 2 or 3 months, we should receive, hopefully, the certification and license to be able to test. And we tell you in advance because we have a reason for it. But if our request with our officials grant us the flight channels and the flight system to be tested, it will give a huge gain for the foundation. In officially, we will be testing systems with the presence of the officials from a number of nations gradually to build up to the 6th of June next year. And officially, government has accepted the first interface between the Keshe Foundation and government officials from number of governments to see how we will receive the flight path and how we will get the authorization to take flight, which is something we've been looking for. And we have chosen a country where they are very receptive to allowing these kind of technologies to be developed. And once we complete this, Keshe Foundation officially will start testing what you call flight systems with the support of and the license to do so. I hope this answers a lot of you. But this will happen in different countries, different nations, which we will not disclose. But this official request for flight now puts Keshe Foundation officially on the path to become an official space agency. And I hope it makes many of you happy with this.
Now I have a problem, Mr. Keshe.
You have no problem. You're staying on Earth. We need you here. You're not flying. We took your certificate away from you.
Okay, you read my mind.
Yep. You wanted an excuse. I took the excuse away from you. But we'll see. We have now officially requested for flight permission, which means we are ready to show, to test, and to demonstrate. This time, we have moved to somewhere that no one can create problem for us. Doesn't matter how many telephone calls they make. Thank you very much.
Thank you for extending yourself after a rigorous 2-day conference to bring us such beautiful news. And I hope it elevates everyone here.
I think a lot of us were not going to sleep tonight.
Well, you must go to sleep, otherwise you'll be falling asleep in the Thursday teaching.
My dear, with all this boost of energy, how are you going to sleep?
I don't know.
It will increase the boost.
Anyone else before we play the formation of the Universal Council?
I remember Mr. Keshe saying, your soul is never sleeping, and you have in the spaceship, you have always the light, and is needed to what we are doing. You are blinding, or your change this light to what you are needed.
So hopefully they've waived the license, the flight license requirements for us. We'll see.
I
in
need
next,
the
14.
license for my soul to fly.
No, of course not. No, of course not.
Yes, you do. But the only difference is you issue the license for yourself. You don't need them to give you a license. It's a beautiful condition. As we said, the Keshe Foundation is on a very rapid structural move. And this literally puts Keshe as a science space institute, as a space agency, as a space, as an organization will start flight tests. And this changes a lot for us. It won't be so easy, but the scientists from the government in the first negotiations are become literally puzzled that such a technology exists, and they wanted to go on test. So we have to find the legislation for it to allow literally invisible flights to take flight and be able to see it or confirm the motion. We need this one on the back of what we said about transmutation of the people in Linz. So we have to do it outside the countries and bring it back in. And this allows us to create part of the transportation as part of the flight system. So when we send the systems out to the country of destination, we already have tested and it can be shown. And it's a breakthrough for the Keshe Foundation. We have officially now entered negotiation with the governments for right to fly with a new technology. And this will give us a huge, what we call advantage in what we call opening up the new spaceship program and putting pressure on the negotiations which we are dealing with. And as I said, we turn to what we call the key one more time, tightening more screws on the what we call superpowers, that they have no power, and we now enter in that position. And with requesting for flight system, which means we need people who can stand long-term duration of literally not needing food, and we create environmental food feeding is part of the process. And you will understand if those who are advanced enough to see the breakthrough, which we could actually, we should have done this 2 years ago, but you were not ready. But now we give you physicality and you saw a new dimension of presence and acceptance, and in a way meeting the need of the man in totality in space. But it's a game changer. But then there is a development in how different knowledge seekers will develop this technology to its next step to become a space program. And hopefully next few weeks you will see a new range of materials which will change the many things which you have been following, and I've made you prepared for it. We wanted to hold this back till the Romanian conference where the Russians were with us and other nations, and we have managed to complete the first cycle, which we were expecting with different nationalities and government officials. We met and we meet, and what is to come. So in so many ways, the first steps for KFSSI, Special Institute, to become an official space agency has taken place. And we'll see, we inform you. We had to make the trip to meet with these people to complete it. And the first steps are very favorable because the nation is open to new science and technologies which they want to be part of. The gravity of this literally puts us in the level with NASA, but we have registered the request as an international organization, as a Keshe Foundation Special Institute. So all of you have become part of this energy, what we call a space organization, once it's granted, and we think we will get it in the next 3 to 6 months. And I'm sure many of you will be there to try to develop and save or take the first journeys with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
As I said in the conference, I do my part, you do yours. And as long as we can keep the Keshe Foundation, the knowledge seekers and the governments working three together, we put the knowledge out, you show the knowledge, and government follows the way we say so. And we are just about to get to that point. the resolution, and what we need is achieved. We resolve our problem, but as knowledge seekers being there, and a lot of knowledge seekers in a way being there to support the knowledge to stay where it is, has given us the opportunity to move into the next level. And now what was missing in the Keshe Foundation, which was part of and the origin of our work, which was a space program, now is officially on the table. And we will change the course of the space technology within the next 6 to 12 months. Don't forget, all of us, we learned it in 25th of November, 2011, when we wanted to show the first flying car in Eindhoven, in the, what I call disgraced nation of Belgium. Came up with the idea, you don't have a license to fly, you go nowhere. And now this time we learned we will have a license. And we fly any destination officially as a space agency. All we need to do is to define the path where we land and how we take off and the rest of it. We will keep you posted.
Okay, I think we'll leave it there with Mr. Keshe's final